Well, and with that complexity, I think, folks are wondering what they should be doing. And in particular, they're asking the question of, well, I've put all this effort into my content, and I'm doing all this work to put things out there on my website and other places. Shouldn't that be good enough? And in the end, does just plain old good content win, or do you need to be a little bit more specific and strategic about it, given what you've just described? What advice in terms of resourcing your content production, but then also in terms of, does the best content win?
I think the problem with the best content is subjectivity, right? Is that, from whose point of view? And LLMs and search engines can't pick that, right? They can't decide subjective things that are that vary from person to person. So I think you have to consider a whole new world of searches and a whole new world of writing content. So for example, it's not just about describing your product and hoping that putting in the most amount of research is going to win. It didn't work in a Google world. I think a lot of people thought that, content structure, research that put into it, citations and things like that made a difference. They didn't really. And I don't think it's going to change in LLMs. I don't think LLMs are going to appreciate content any better than Google did. And I see a lot of disinformation and misinformation, especially in SEO forums, talking about it on X and LinkedIn. People are saying that, oh, you just need an LLMs.txt or schema, or if you follow your brand guidelines, you'll get rewarded for it. I think what we have to realize is that people are putting in different types and more complex questions. So they're asking things like, what is the best X for my industry? And they're adding things that they wouldn't expect Google to answer. So they might define their industry more. They might define their company size more. So what's a good CRM system for a company with 100 people? Now, if we go back to the start of your question, most content writers and most brands wouldn't have had content that says, we're the best CRM for government for 1 to 500 people, right? It didn't seem like a great article or a blog post, but now we have to start thinking that way. And that's why I think you see a lot of Reddit and LinkedIn pages in being quoted by LLMs. It's not because they have a preference for it. It's just that that's how people type in a forum. So if somebody says, hey, I've got 50 employees, should I get Salesforce or should I get HubSpot? Someone's going to say, hey, you probably want to start with HubSpot. And that's where it's getting its queries from. So we now have to consider our content from a number of different angles and points of view, and almost sort of like insert ourselves into the conversation.